Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
I am Kyle.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is where we talk all things Star Wars. And welcome back, guys. It's been a while. Kyle and Kevin from the Fandom Podcast Network.
Yeah, is this the Fandom Podcast Network takeover show?
I mean, it can be. I think that'd be entertaining.
Love that. Love the Mandalorian Grogu hat you got rocking there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Luckily, Mary brought it to me for SpaceCon when she flew in from LA. I was supposed to fly into Anaheim, but I wasn't able to, and I bought tickets for the El Capitan, and she brought me back my swag. So, and I like the hat too. But yeah, before we get started, we want to definitely thank all of our Patreon members and supporters out there. Our top tier: Liam McCowan, Kev Leininger, Deb McCaffrey, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Tia Arnold, Alex Blundell, Indiana Solo, BC Doomit, Sean Smith, and Adriana Verano. Thank you so much for your awesome love and support out there. And also our sponsor, Legion Sabers, legionsabers.com. If you use the code STUFF at checkout, you can get $5 off whatever you buy on top of whatever discounts or promotions they're running on the site. So check them out. We will also be getting another batch of necklaces. We'll be at Rebel Scum Con in Frisco, Texas here the second week of August. You'll be able to see me, a couple of people that have co-hosted, kind of like Kevin and Kyle here. Chris from Cantina Cast will be there. Albert from Cantina Cast will be there. And as of right now, to my knowledge, we'll be seated right next to Brandon from Talking Bay 94. So you'll be able to talk to us, hang out with us. We have a lot of Funko Pops and pins and all kinds of stuff you could win on our prize wheel. So come check us out. Also, we have these exclusive stickers as well. I just got them in for Rebel Scum Con. I don't know if you can see them there. But also, we should have some pins as well. If you spin the wheel, you'll get all the stickers and pins. So check us out there. Yeah, we haven't done a podcast in a little while. And somebody's already commented, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while for me. We have ran a couple of podcasts, I think, with Mary and Craig and James. Big shout out to Charlie Barnett. He was live on here with us. He did an awesome podcast. He's Yord Fandar in the Acolyte. That was terrific and awesome. Hopefully we can have some more celebrity guests on the show. But yeah, we rarely do shows during the day. I think we're kind of changing it up a little bit to do shows where people can actually watch us during the day, because I know we've been doing them late at night. So hopefully if you're watching us on YouTube, you can like and subscribe. Check us out. We're always trying to cover everything under the Star Wars umbrella. And today's kind of the news roundup. I always love talking about news, bleeding edge news, everything that everyone's talking about. And of course, I think one of the big topics that kind of just popped out of nowhere, I didn't have any kind of info or any idea this was going to happen, but and I don't know if you guys heard about this either, but it's something called the Star Wars Experience, and it's a museum, and it's going to travel to two different museums apparently in North America. Details I don't think are super clear at the moment, aside from what StarWars.com posted. But I'm going to read a little bit from the article from StarWars.com here to get you guys caught up. So the title of the article is New Star Wars: The Experience Museum Exhibition Announced. Journey through the galaxy and celebrate the 50th anniversary of the film that launched the Skywalker saga with the world premiere of an official exhibition at the Franklin Institute in 2027. Soon you'll be able to stare into the blank visage of Darth Vader's immutable mask, get within inches of Grogu's adorable fuzzy head, and finally find the droids you're looking for. Next year, we embark on a journey celebrating the legacy of Star Wars and the power of the Force and fandom with the largest and most comprehensive behind-the-scenes exhibition to date opens in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ahead of a 5-year tour of North America. That's right, 5-year tour in North America, Canada, United States, and Mexico. Star Wars: The Experience, A Journey Through the Galaxy is a world premiere exhibition opening at the Franklin Institute on February 13th 2027 as part of the Star Wars 50th anniversary celebration. Told through an extraordinary collection of more than 70 artifacts, many of them on view for the first time from Lucasfilm, the exhibit invites you to take a closer look at legendary screen-used pieces, including Darth Maul's lightsaber hilt, which one of our top-tier Patreon members owns one of those, and Darth Vader's menacing armor, as well as a selection of fan-favorite aliens, droids, and creatures, including the Mandalorian's faithful companion Grogu from Star Wars The Mandalorian Grogu, which is in theaters now, and the droid duo that started it all, R2-D2 and C-3PO. A celebration of the depth and breadth of storytelling in the galaxy far, far away. The exhibition also includes vehicles like a full-size speeder bike and original props from Andor, the critically acclaimed and Emmy and Peabody Award-winning Disney Plus series. Created by the Franklin Institute in collaboration with MDSX, Lucasfilm, and Disney Consumer Products, Star Wars The Experience is an all-new exhibition spanning 18,000 square feet of visually rich, interconnected galleries featuring large immersive moment screen use artifacts and an RFID powered experience for an interactive, personalized, and cinematic journey into the creative force behind Star Wars. From sound design and costume creation to fan art and gaming, the exhibition celebrates the intersection of art, innovation, and fandom, showcasing the Star Wars legacy as a mythology that has always been and always will be built by dreamers, celebrating the groundbreaking evolution and innovations of both Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic. It charts the path from analog ingenuity to digital reinvention and highlights the voices of early makers and the current global fandom, uncovering the creativity, craftsmanship, and community that makes Star Wars a timeless treasure beloved by people around the globe. Star Wars created a cultural landscape that spans decades and delivers massive, undeniable global appeal, says Larry Dubinsky, president and CEO of the Franklin Institute. Its influence extends far beyond cinema, shaping entertainment, culture, technology, and business while redefining how stories are created, experienced, and shared across generations. The Franklin Institute is excited to put Philadelphia once again at the center of a major cultural moment with another blockbuster world premiere exhibition in 2027. Fans attending San Diego Comic-Con this month will get the first look at the care put into curating this exhibit over more than 4 years of collaboration with exclusive exhibit renderings and other new details. San Diego Comic-Con panel details the making of Star Wars Experience, Friday, July 24th, 2026, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, room 7AB. Exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con attendees, the creative minds behind Star Wars Experience will share more about the making of the exhibition, revealing insider insights and the first gallery renderings. Moderated by Ashley Eckstein, actor and the voice of Ahsoka Tano, is in the animated series, including Star Wars The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, Tales of the Jedi. Panel experts include Matt Martin, Senior Creative Executive Franchise Content and Strategy at Lucasfilm, Portia Fontes, Manager of Physical Assets at Lucasfilm, Abby Bish, Chief Experience and Strategy Officer at the Franklin Institute, Dan Picard, Creative Officer and owner of MDSX, and Dave Edmonds, Art Director at MDSX. So, guys, what do you think about this new Star Wars The Experience exhibition that's going to roll out here in North America?
Kyle, go ahead.
It sounds amazing, and I think it's something Star Wars really needs right now. It's not been the best of times for Star Wars, if we're being honest. And I think this is the kind of thing that will give some positive things to the fans, as long as they make it go enough places to make it truly available for everybody. But this is something that I think will bring nostalgia. I think it's going to get people interested in Star Wars. And I think this is a great idea. I think this is just something Star Wars and a lot of these larger IPs need these days, because it's such a weird market out there with how things are going with movies and how people are reacting to TV. And I think too, it's goodwill. And I think I look at a lot of the major franchises and a lot of these companies, and I think they need goodwill right now. And because I think people are just in a weird mindset, in a weird position. So I think this is a brilliant idea.
So this starts, you get a little sneak peek of this year's Comic-Con. Is that what I heard you say? Correct, David?
Yes, it looks like it, yeah.
And then where is it? And then is it going to go? Did you say to Philadelphia for its first full exhibition?
That's what it looks like. It doesn't list any more sites or dates, but I don't know if it's kind of like a.
It doesn't say how long each stay is, right?
No, it doesn't. I didn't see that anywhere.
The reason why I was wondering about that is because Kyle hit on something that that Star Wars might be losing general audiences. The hardcore fans will always be there, but that's not always enough to bring in the box office receipts that we have seen going on. But I'm wondering if they're going to also throw in a little bit of Starfighter in there to get people excited for what's to come or anything else that hasn't been announced yet. I think it's a good thing to do to remind people of the basically what Star Wars has done for fandom and where we've been and maybe showcasing things that people haven't had a chance to see. And having it tour is a good idea because not a lot of people get to, it's only showing in New York or it's only showing in California and they can't see it, so hopefully it'll come to an area that they can. And I was trying to remember, David, I don't know if you remember this or not, or you, Kyle. 2015, there was another kind of touring Star Wars event, and I had to look it up to remember because I remember going to it somewhere, I think in San Jose or something like that. It was the Rebel, Jedi, Princess, Queen, Star Wars, and Power of the Costume. That was kind of a traveling thing, and they would show all the costumes. They had some props as well. I remember they had like a land speeder, and I have pictures of me there doing that. And I thought that was a really cool thing, and I just kind of happened to fall upon it because I happened to be in the area at the time. And it was pretty cool. And these type of things, being able to showcase them at non-conventions is also an important thing. And I think hopefully this will bring awareness to the fact that not only are they releasing a brand new Star Wars movie next year, but they're celebrating the 50th anniversary, and they're also re-releasing the original Star Wars in the theater. So I like the idea, and if it gives us a chance to see stuff we haven't seen before, more power to it.
Yeah, and it coincides kind of with the Lucas Museum opening that's happening here September 22nd, and then you'll have that on the other side of the country. I think it's really cool that they're doing this. It's going to last for 5 years, which is incredible. I don't know if they're actually going to go to. Hopefully they do go as far down as Mexico. That is North America, of course, and they do talk about North America. It's always a very interesting and shocking thing, I think, when people actually get to see stuff from Star Wars that's going to be 50 years old that we've never seen before. And we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, where there's footage that they'll release on like DVD sets, never before seen footage. And it is never before seen footage. None of us outside of the people that worked on Star Wars saw some of that stuff. So I'm wondering what kind of stuff that we've never seen before are they going to show? And hopefully we get some insight at San Diego.
Well, there's a whole trilogy and one-shot movies that have been released by Disney that are very light on special features, if you think about it, and behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if that'll be something. I mean, we've never gotten certain book releases of behind the scenes. We've got a little bit of art here and there, but it's been kind of stingy if you think about it.
Yeah. Also, the other thing too, when you go to Star Wars Celebration, sometimes you do see some footage that we've never seen before.
Yeah,
and that's what makes Celebration special. And it kind of goes back to them not releasing that stuff to general audiences, and the people that go to Celebration, they get that as a treat.
I still wish we had gotten a re-release of the prequel trilogy all in 3D like we were promised. Not having to. I mean, I did see 2 and 3 at Celebrations, and I did see episode 1 in the theater, but we never got the other ones in the theater.
So you saw episode 2 and 3 in 3D?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
They were only at Celebrations.
Right.
One of them was in Germany, I think, if I remember correctly.
In Essen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it comes to Texas, I'll definitely go to it. I'm not sure if Star Wars Stuff Podcast is going to make a special trip. You would assume it would maybe come to, I don't know.
They should team up with the California. They should team up with the Cosm Theater in your area too.
The thing about that is I talk about Cosm like it's close by me, but it's really not. It's in North Texas. So that's a drive for me. But I mean, my brother lives up there, so
Yeah.
it's
You have
it's
it's an
not.
excuse.
Yeah, definitely, it's an excuse. And I actually just saw something last night where they're gonna build a couple more spheres, or they're in development. I think one in the UK, and then one I think over on the other side
Hey,
of the ocean.
I'm just excited. I just found out an AMC in Tampa is getting the ScreenX theaters, which are the three huge screens kind of surrounding.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I'm not sure if we have those anywhere close to me, but I was talking to one of our co-hosts the other day. It was Mary, and I started counting the number of IMAXs that are available to me, and I think I counted 6, which I never thought about that before. But yeah, some of them are not quite IMAX, I think.
I have to drive an hour to see the closest one, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about, for closest one for me is about 40 minutes. But, and like you said, there's a lot of them that aren't what I call a true IMAX screen. It's close, but it's not a true IMAX per se.
Yeah. I got to say this, though. I saw the last screening that we got to see was a Supergirl premiere at the Bob Bullock, which is the largest IMAX screen in Texas. There was absolutely no room in the seating. Like, you're like in there like scrunched. I mean, we're all kind of spoiled with like reclining seats and that type of thing, but that place, I mean, it's tough. And I think that movie was not even that long, and I was just uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was under 2 hours, so yeah.
All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about here were the Emmy nominations. Have you guys heard anything about what got nominated?
Yeah, we actually did have a discussion a bit about this on the last Culture Clash. We covered some of the more primary categories. It's a very interesting year for Emmy nominations.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because I heard a lot of the nominations, and there were a lot of shows and stuff that was nominated that I wasn't even familiar with. But yeah, I'm going to cover this a little bit here. I'm going to read a little bit from this article here. It's on Star Wars Newsnet. It's entitled Star Wars Visions and Maul Shadowlord among list of nominees for the 2026 Emmys. The list of nominations for the 2026 Primetime Emmys has been released, and Star Wars Visions and Maul Shadowlord have been recognized in the category of Outstanding Animated Program in Star Wars Visions, and the episode titled Black were placed among 5 other notable animated programs, and in the category of Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series, Half Hour and Animation, Maul Shadowlord received recognition specifically for its 10th episode entitled The Dark Lord. There's a picture on the screen that I have up from Visions there, and it is the grouping is with for Maul Shadowlord, one of my favorite shows. I think, in my opinion, I think it should probably win everything, but of course I haven't seen everything. But A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Murderbot, Predator, Killer of Killers, which is another great animated Hulu spot there, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who's totally doing fantastical things with the Predator franchise. And Star Wars Maul Shadowlord, Chapter 10, The Dark Lord, which you can see currently on Disney Plus, Widow's Bay on Apple TV. The list of winners will be announced on September 14th at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. As far as other shows listed, The Pit leads the way with 25 nominations. Hacks comes in at around with 24. Widow's Bay has 19, coming in at 3rd, and Pluribus and Beef coming at 4th and 5th, respectively, with 18 and 16 nominations. Star Wars has also been recognized by the Emmys on multiple occasions in previous years, with shows coming away from these celebrations with awards. Most recently, shows like Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, and Andor, which have won Outstanding Writing, have all received prestigious titles from the Emmys. So, Kyle, what are your thoughts on the nominations here? And should we have gotten more nominations for Star Wars?
I love the fact that it's got nominees. Maul Shadowlord was absolutely fantastic, and that final episode was one of my favorite Star Wars things in a good while. I am a huge Visions fan, so I'm so happy Visions got some nominations. Though I'm a little blown away. It's the episode that they've chosen. That was not one of my favorites. I thought the animation style got real sloppy in that one. It's just not my cup of tea for animation style. My favorite, some of my favorite Visions will be addressing here in a little bit later in the show. But anytime Star Wars, especially on the animation side, gets recognized, because they do phenomenal work. And like I said, Maul Shadowlord was absolutely fantastic. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. I think it really it surpassed my expectations. And like I said, I am a huge anime fan, so I'm always in on Visions. Again, I'm just kind of shocked that this is the one that got the nomination. But you know,
are you saying there was one particular episode in that got the nomination, not the whole series?
Yes, it was one particular episode that got nominated.
Okay, the Visions one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, on the Visions, because Visions is being an anthology. There's several different things in it. I was kind of shocked that it was that particular one, but again, taste of the judges, I guess.
So I'm very happy that the animators for Star Wars are getting recognized, and I hope that they win, and I hope that it supports their art and continues it. You know, because Star Wars overall is struggling right now. Maul Shadowlord was fantastic. I'm going to echo that with Kyle. I really enjoyed not just the animation, enjoyed the story, enjoyed the characters in it and stuff. But I'm going to say something very unpopular right now. I'm not a fan of Visions at all. I'm not a fan of a lot of the animation throughout that series. I couldn't even finish season 2. I think I finished season 1. I'm not a fan of animation that is not considered canon in Star Wars. If it's just, you know, I know it's people given a chance to do their own stories and their own art and stuff like that, but I don't want to spend my time with that. And but I will support it as an art, and I hope that I hope it does win, because that would be really cool, a little notch in the Star Wars belt. But I'm not a fan of Visions overall.
Yeah, I am of the mind, and really when we started the podcast, I only wanted canonical things. I only cared about canon. I didn't want to even remotely entertain them introducing anything like Visions in there. Over time, though, I've changed on that big time. It seems like over time, that really limits what we get, the content we get as fans. And I understand your point. We don't want to, and a lot of us are super busy. We don't want to waste our time on stuff that, like, quote unquote, doesn't count. But I mean, when you watch some of these Visions episodes, you can really tell that, like, they came up with some really cool ideas, and they put some really good thought into some of the stuff they introduced to us. And me being a really huge live action fan, I'm just over here thinking, like, why can't we have live action stuff like this? I know there's hardcore animation fans out there, and it kind of goes against the whole notion of having Visions. I know James on the podcast pointed that out to me, but Kyle, you wanted to add something?
Well, you brought up a point about with it being non-canon. I think that's actually important, because I think when I talk to a lot of Star Wars fans, there's a lot of Star Wars fans who are really desperate to get outside of the Skywalker sandbox and the trilogy sandbox. Right. So right. Visions gives them a taste of that. And I think what's so great about Visions is, being anthology, you're not committing yourself fully to a series, and you're just getting basically experimentation. And who knows, there's some of these Vision shorts that could easily fit somewhere in the canon later on in the future, or if even in the past. And I think it's a nice change up of pace. I know it's not for everybody, but I think being able to be in non-canon gives them the freedom to really show express their Star Wars ideas. And I think that's a good thing too, because I think you have to have that opening of the mind to see it from different angles, because you might be surprised and say, oh man, this is something I'd really like to see them explore more. And we've kind of seen that happen with a demand so high that we are getting the Ninth Jedi coming out as a series, because that was so popular. And you talk to a lot of people feel like that could easily be a vision that could be put into the canon. very easily. And I think Visions is great. I love that it's getting recognized. And like I said, I'll go back to Maul. Maul surpassed all my expectations, and I can't wait for season 2. And that 10th episode, that final episode of Maul, was one of the best animated Star Wars episodes I've seen in a very long time.
I don't mind that they have a show that allows they're allowing people to show them their vision of Star Wars and having, fun and creative ways of doing it. But when you graduate to live action, stop giving it to people to give them their own vision. There's a certain recipe that you need to stick with that works. And if they need to filter that out through the animation, that's fine. But make sure that whoever gets live action sticks to what works.
Well, but the question is right now too. I'm going to throw this out there: is the recipe working right now?
Yeah, I say that because no, it's not.
It kind of speaks to me of that they're trying to, in a sense, have their cake and eat it too, in a way, because when you go back to 2015, when this all kind of started, in 2014, really with like the books and the comic books and stuff, it's almost like they wanted to be safe but also take risks, and this is kind of the output of all that. Visions is not really a risk per se, but is risky, kind of going outside of canon and giving story to these anime companies, but it's not in the theater, it's on streaming. So we're still kind of getting it, but it's not kind of the prime piece of content that the theater is really the place where you're going to put that up to the test. But of course, you go back to going from The Force Awakens and then going way, way outside of their comfort zone and what was safe in The Last Jedi. To some people, no. That's still, it is what it is. And I've shared my thoughts so many times on the podcast of, man, they should have just kind of probably just played it safe throughout that trilogy. And then after that, once they ended the Skywalker saga, then they could go outside the box and everything. But that's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. So yeah. I don't know. But I mean, Visions, I like the fact that they're doing it. We're going to get our next story is The Ninth Jedi, which is going to be 8 episodes. That's going to drop August 5th. All the episodes are going to drop on Disney Plus and Hulu. And they're really kind of leaning into it. I like that they're doing that because, like I said, I'd like to see them just to give me the ideas and kind of spark that notion of that there is more that they can do. There's more that's possible. There's more that I didn't think of that they can put into a Star Wars story. But I am a live action guy. I want to see live action stuff.
Is this canon?
No.
As of right now, it's not canon.
Here's the thing with the story that this. Hold on, the original story that this is based on. Are we given a time frame within the Star Wars universe of when it takes place?
Yes, and I'll read a little bit about it, but okay. They're saying this is way far in the future, but I still don't think that they're going to recognize this as canon.
Oh, like they did with the Highlander animated movie.
Yeah, more the TV series. Yeah, the TV. Think of like the Highlander TV series.
Way in the future won't matter.
But the thing about the Ninth Jedi, really, when you came out of Visions, there were 2 that were just incredibly popular. It was the Ninth Jedi and it was the Ronin. People love the Ronin character. That's why we got a second Ronin episode in Vision season 3, and it's also why we got a second episode of the Ninth Jedi in season 3. But the thing about it is, of all of them, of everything they've done with Visions, most of the fans who have watched Visions have said they feel like the Ninth Jedi is the closest to being something in canon and could easily be adapted in canon. Yes, it's far in the future, but there's a lot of the baseline aspects in the Ninth Jedi, more so than I think any of the other Star Wars Visions that can put it into canon. And I think there's some really interesting concepts with the Ninth Jedi that could easily be incorporated. And I'm really curious to see what they'll do when they have a full 8 episodes to do this with, because I thought both episodes we've gotten in Vision so far have been outstanding. And I'm like, I could easily like to see some of these ideas incorporated into Star Wars mythos.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I'm going to read some of this article here about The Ninth Jedi. The trailer is out now on YouTube if you want to go check it out if you haven't seen it yet, which you probably have. But the article on StarWars.com is entitled Star Wars Visions Presents the Ninth Jedi Trailer Debut, and it's updated. Read up on the cast announcement, watch the trailer, and see the teaser poster for the new Star Wars limited anime series arriving on Disney Plus and Hulu this August 5th. The Jedi and the Sith have disappeared, but the Force remains an ally to those who wish to stand up for what is right. This summer, trust the Force and listen to your heart when Kara resumes her quest to find her missing father and evade Jedi hunters in Star Wars Visions Presents The Ninth Jedi, which sounds like a good idea for a movie. New limited series from Lucasfilm and Production IG. The first poster for the series has arrived along with the official first trailer, first revealed at Anime Expo 2026, which hints at a new dangerous mission about to unfold. The next chapter in a story that began with the fan favorite The Ninth Jedi short from Star Wars Visions Volume 1 and continued with The Ninth Jedi Child of Hope in Star Wars Visions Volume 3. Star Wars Visions Presents The Ninth Jedi will follow Kara's newest adventure in a galaxy far, far away. Does the Force actually guide you? Search your feelings for the answer and watch the original Japanese trailer here on StarWars.com or for the full English dub anime trailer also on YouTube. The 8-episode limited anime series is part of an all-new Star Wars Visions Presents banner, which allows filmmakers to tell longer-form Star Wars Visions stories. Picking up not long after the events of the Visions shorts in the new series, La Kara continues to train in the ways of the Jedi under Margrave Juro amid an epic journey of self-discovery as she and Juro's small fellowship of Jedi in training embark on a quest to save her father. Star Wars Visions Presents The Ninth Jedi is directed by Shunsuke Tada and written by Mitsuyasu Sakai. Kenji Kamiyama serves as supervising director. Executive producers are James Waugh, Jackie Lopez, Josh Rhimes, Justin Leach, and Mitsuisa Ishikawa. The producers are Hitoshi Ito and Kanaku Shiresaka, and the co-producer is Caroline Keller. The English dub voice talent includes returning voice cast Kimiko Glenn, La Kara, Andrew Kishino, Juro, Masioka, Ethan, and I think Masioka kind of rings a bell for some people. Patrick Seitz, Haman JP Karliak as Gramps, and Simu Liu, which we all know is Shang-Chi in the Marvel Universe, is La Jima. Neil Kaplan returns to voice the narrator. The new English voice talent includes Fyodor Chin, Young Mazino, Chase Sue Wanders, and Keon Young. The returning original language voice talent includes Chinasu Akasaki, Tetsu Kanoa, Hiramu Minita, Hinata, Tadukuro Cho as Gramps, and Shinichiro Miki. Also, Akio Atsuka returns to voice the narrator. Join Kara on her journey when Star Wars Visions Presents The Ninth Jedi premieres August 5th, 2026 on Disney Plus and Hulu. So, Kyle, anything new to add?
Oh, you're in my wheelhouse here. Kevin knows this. First of all, you have Production IG, which is one of the best animation houses in Japan. They put out some of the greatest anime out there, and they always do beautiful production work. Again, to be able to get this particular story spread out over a longer time to more develop the story, this was, in my opinion, this was the strongest story in Visions. The characters are memorable. They've got some very interesting aspects going on, how they are looking at the history of the Force so far into the future and what has happened and the mysteries that are going on. I will tell anybody, even if you have not necessarily invested in the Visions, go to season 1, watch the first episode, go to season 3, watch that second episode before this comes out August 5th. Even if you don't invest in any of the other Visions, invest in this, because I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is going to be one of the best original Star Wars stories since probably the first couple of seasons of Mandalorian, Grogu, and Andor. As far as more recent Star Wars, I think there is the potential for this to be something very special and something that I think Star Wars fans could really get behind to the point where they do decide to make it official canon. I really think that's a very strong possibility.
Kyle, what's the quick plot on this? Give us
Basically,
something to get
it
excited
is
about.
very
What is it?
it's very far into the future. The Jedi and Sith have disappeared. Nobody quite knows why they've disappeared, but it focuses on this young girl who's showing Force latent powers, and this Jedi, basically a Jedi master, very old Jedi master, finds her, and along with several other recruits who have shown Force sensitivity in the first short, and it's about finding out about them. Also, during that time, this girl's young father, who's like an ace mechanic, goes missing, and so it's about this girl's journey with the Force, and also finding her father with the survivors of this ragtag group of Jedi trainees that are on the run from people trying to destroy anything Jedi, Sith, or anything. And so they're on the run from that, and they're trying to find her father and explore the Force. It's very straightforward storytelling, but it's very well done. And there's some very good characters in this, and they're developing some very good characters, especially when you're considering that the first 2 episodes combined are under a half an hour because they're vision shorts. It might be just a little over, closer to 40 minutes. But again, even if you're not a fan of Visions per se, watch those 2 episodes before this comes out and give this a chance, because I think this could be something really good.
Yeah, I really like the fact that one of the story designers, he took something from his childhood. Really, he thought that the characters with their lightsaber colors, it changed on the lightsaber color changed depending on what type of character they were, light side or dark side. And I thought that was really interesting, and they incorporate that into the Ninth Jedi. And I think you can see in the trailer, and they allude to it a little bit, but if you go to the StarWars.com article, the most recent one, he does talk about that, and you can see the blades changing in the trailer.
It's almost like the kyber crystals tied into their emotional state.
Okay.
So are you saying it's a mood lightsaber?
A little bit, yeah, not quite, but it's a little bit more than that. But it's showing the temptation, because really none of these trainees, even the master that's training them, they are so far removed from the high point of the Force, and the knowledge is not out there like it used to be. Even so, and it's again because it's being so far in the future, the rules have changed a little bit, but it's enough of an interesting take to where you're fascinated of where this is going to go, and how they're going to use this as part of the character development of these characters.
Right. In the trailer, you see like the big bad, and he ignites his saber, and it's blue, and they're all shocked that it's blue because they know that it changes with light side, dark side. So I thought that was an interesting concept, because when I was younger too, and I do this with songs all the time, you kind of misinterpret lyrics and you think it's one thing, but then when you finally see or read what it actually is, it's something totally different.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like the term, when I was a little kid, I didn't know it was called a lightsaber. I thought it was called a lifesaver at first. That's actually what I thought, and I was like, "What's a saber?"
We all did.
Yeah. But yeah, that is I like that concept of the color changing. I think that's a cool little thing.
And like I said, with Production IG being the production studio on this, the animation is going to be absolutely stunning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They did Ghost in the Shell, right? In the shell.
No, they didn't do Ghost. They did one of the Ghosts in the Shells. There's been so many. I mean, there's a whole new one out.
Yeah.
It just hit on Amazon literally last week, but they've done a lot of really good popular anime out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next thing, and I don't think I've talked to you guys about Celebration next year. You guys are going to go to it, right?
I got my Thursday ticket.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tickets were not fun. I was not able to acquire tickets as of yet. So
yeah, I did the whole waiting in line thing. It took like 4-something hours. Stuff started selling out. I started a Facebook group for Thursday members only. You can look it up there. And if you still want to go out there for the one day and you can't get other tickets, I'm having people post stuff in it of fun stuff you can do in and around LA. outside of the obvious, of course, of Scum and Villainy and Galaxy's Edge there in Disneyland. That fun stuff you can do. Because at least I got my swag that'll be sent to me before I go, but I could only get a Thursday ticket. That was the worst ticket experience I've ever had regarding anything like that ever. It's sad.
So yeah, you'll be there since you're kind of in that location. Kyle, are you gonna be over there as well?
I'm looking at it. I just, it's one of those things. Kind of see what happens here too. Plane tickets from Florida to California aren't exactly cheap right now either.
Yeah, it's like, I was looking at like hotel stuff. It's crazy expensive, man. I mean, at least I can drive 2 hours in the morning from where I live in Santa Barbara, go there for the day and head back if I have to. But I do want to do that. But the most disappointing thing about that is that, I'm part of the 501st and Rebel Legion and the Wilbur Hood. This means I probably won't be able to run with my Wilbur Hood guys because they never do it on Thursday, and that's disappointing to me, that I can't participate in stuff like that. I can't participate in the 501st party, which is usually Saturday night. Maybe I might be able to participate on the Star Wars night that they might, they did like, a few years ago when they had it down in Anaheim where they close Disneyland down at 5 and then they have the Star Wars night. You could show up in costume. Maybe I can do that if that doesn't sell out too fast. So I don't know. I'm still a little steamed about that.
I just wanted to come back to Florida. Come on. It's been a while since we've had
Kyle, you never went when it was in Florida anyway.
Do we remember the dates that fell on at that particular time? April 15th is a little hard for me to get away.
Yeah, it always falls on April when you're doing taxes.
Well, Kevin and Kyle, if you guys show up, I think there's a good possibility you'll get in. I'll just say that.
It's good to have.
I can't make any promises because the future is clouded. But
it's always in motion.
Yeah. So I mean, I do have other friends that say they're going right now, but of course, like you said, the price of airfare and hotel is astronomical. And I'm working my hardest to be able to pay for all that right now at my second job. But I do have 2 sets of tickets, but depending on if my buddy from Countdown goes or not, I might have extras. But we just don't know. And depending if we get media badges too, then I'll have essentially 3 sets of tickets. So it just kind of
allowing
depends.
them to purchase 20 tickets at once so they can be
I think
scalped.
that's the frustrating thing.
Minutes later was just it was a black eye in the system.
Yeah, and I've heard a couple things out there about that. And this is unofficial. This isn't official what I'm about to say here, but I have heard that either ReedPop or whoever's running this, I'm assuming it's ReedPop, have been reacquiring those tickets back. So
I
possibly there's going to be more tickets.
I think that's part of some people's problems, though, is they don't want to do anything to do with ReedPop at this point. They're so disgusted by how ReedPop is conducting business right now.
Right. Well, I mean, if that rumor's true, I mean that's a good mark on
the right
ReedPop's
direction.
record. Yeah.
But I personally think this might be one of the most important celebrations ever for where Star Wars is at right now. I mean, I see going into it. I mean, it's obviously going to be, I think the 2 biggest centerpieces are the re-release of the original film in theaters and Star Wars Starfighter. I think Star Wars Starfighter, and I've said this on our own show, I think Star Wars Starfighter might become the most important Star Wars movie in the Star Wars franchise history as far as just where Star Wars is right now as it's coming out, what they're looking at it to do, and the fact that I really feel like right now we've kind of are officially closing out a chapter in Star Wars, like the end of the Kathleen Kennedy era, with everything that's kind of coming out, with Ninth Jedi coming out, season 2 of Maul Shadow Lord, and we just haven't. All we've heard outside of confirmed Starfighter, we haven't heard much about any other project. And I really think what's going on right now is because of all the changeover at Lucasfilm and the changeover at Disney, they're not going to announce any new Star Wars projects until we are closer to Starfighter or after Starfighter comes out, or maybe at Celebration, because I think they're a little nervous about, they don't want to get too far ahead of themselves right now.
I agree. We were just talking about this the other day. What are they going to tell us at Celebration? What are the big panels going to be? Obviously, it's going to be the 50th panel with hopefully every living member of Star Wars there. And then maybe something Starfighter-esque. But Starfighter, I think Starfighter drops after Celebration.
Yeah,
So we'll get the final trailer.
I think.
Yeah. But then after that, what are they going to talk about? Because Ahsoka would have already been released earlier that year. Are they gonna, yeah. Well, I mean, it might be more strategic to release it after. But what else are they going to talk about? There's always been this rumored animated series. It's possibly going to happen. And I think it's going to happen because, I mean, Filoni's at the top and he's an animation guy. But other than that, what big panels are we going to get? That's the real big question, I think.
I think most of the panels will be involved with the anniversary. I think they're going to try to get everybody out of the woodwork for.
They need to be careful about not having panels about projects that'll never come to fruition.
Yeah. If Daisy Ridley's there, that could cause a lot of stirring. I'm just going to say that. Considering the speculation, I mean, I think this is where, again, it's interesting with, I mean, and I've talked about this with other franchises too. The way movies are right now, when you look at like what's happened with Supergirl, what happened with Mando Grogu in the box office, and Kevin and I'm not saying the box office is the final dictator if a movie's good or not, but you just look at the box office and you look at movies like Obsession and Backrooms and some of these others that are just making huge money, that I just kind of feel like, in a way, people are kind of a little bit burned out on these huge IPs, and they don't. And it's not so much that they don't love the IP; it's that they're tired of having to follow so many different things to keep up with the IP. And I think there's a lot more people with these larger IPs anymore. People want what they want with it, and they're not willing to settle for if it's not exactly what they want, which is a shame. They're not keeping an open mind to creative direction. But I think also the fact that, if we're being honest, when we look at the two biggest franchises out there right now, they've been pretty hit or miss for the last several years on their projects. And I think people are just like, yeah, I'm kind of burned out on this. When you can get back to being something epic, let me know, because I think that's the other aspect. And I think that's something that kind of hurt Mandalorian Grogu. Was, I think people, when they go to a Star Wars movie in the theaters, they're expecting something epic to happen. And it's really not been that way for a bit. And I think that's one of the things that is important for Starfighter. Something epic has to happen in Starfighter. It can't be just a little side story. It has got to set up at least a main storyline for the future of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And I'll do my best Russell Case impersonation. You read my mind. Yeah, I've been talking about this forever. Star Wars needs to go, to put it simply, the Blumhouse route. Make smaller movies and don't spend a whole lot of money, and you can still release it as a Lucasfilm project. And I've been saying forever, get these young, talented directors like a Corey Barker in there. There's a lot of them. Just go on YouTube. I mean, it's almost kind of like Visions, but on the big screen in a way. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You'll make way more money than you'll spend because of simply the IP, Star Wars. So, I mean, they might, the shareholders, the board might consider it a gamble, but I think it would be really cool, and get Star Wars back in theaters more often. And it doesn't have to be this huge celebrated thing, but of course they're going to try and make it that because it is Star Wars, and they're going to want to spend $250 million on print and advertising on it. But
I think the goal of Starfighter is to set up whatever the next movie trilogy is going to be. And then now, if we have that, and then they do side projects,
even though they're saying this is not connected to, or this is not a trilogy, it's a standalone. But then they say, oh, this is after the Battle of Exegol.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a standalone in its own right. But I think I just think that it's where Hollywood has gone, especially with the large franchises. At the end of it, they're going to give us a stinger or something that's going to tease what's next, and that this will be a standalone.
Which is surprising that this movie didn't do it. The Mandalorian Grogu, we got no mid-credit, post-credit, anything.
But I think that was intentional. I think that's because Mandalorian Grogu, it was meant to start closing this chapter on anything that Kathleen Kennedy was really associated with. I think they really are trying to get like a fresh start chapter with starting with Starfighter going forward, because I think they know they have to reimagine Star Wars a little bit for a new generation. But and I think that's what the folly has been for now. The stuff that has been highly successful for Star Wars since Disney took it over has been the stuff that's dealt with more of in the timeline and more retro. The stuff that's been outside of it, for the most part, hasn't. Acolyte didn't do well. You know, first 2 seasons of Mando and Grogu did very well. Then they kind of started getting away from certain aspects of it, and so the 3rd season was down a little bit. And I enjoyed Mando and Grogu in the movie theaters, but I think a lot of people just felt like, okay, yeah, you just gave me season 4 and that was it, even though they say that's not the case.
Right.
It's just a matter of,
you have to be careful of oversaturation as well, and that's been
Yeah.
part of the problem. You know,
I agree with that too.
I think the other thing that's frustrating is, wasn't the whole point of Disney Plus, both with Marvel and Star Wars, to create shows and create directors that could build up their experience by doing these shows so they could take on a film, and using, especially I think more in Marvel's case than Star Wars case, but using these shows to supplement and bring either new characters in or elevate other characters to a higher status so you can use them as more of a main lead in a film. And I think because of a lot of different reasons, some beyond any of these studios' control, that just didn't happen that way.
I agree with that. Yeah. I wish we could see what direction they're going to head after Starfighter, because like you said, it does feel like Starfighter is a turning point. It's still under Kathleen Kennedy, even though she's gone, but I mean, that was still a project she greenlit, and everything after, I think, is going to be Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan approved projects. Maybe Celebration is that starting point, the official starting point of that regime.
I think that's what they're looking at. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Have you guys been to the LA Convention Center before?
I have. I was actually there for the Star Wars Celebration in 2004. I think it was 2007. No, excuse me, 2007. It's 2007. I was there for that, but apparently they've changed a lot. I don't know. They've done some construction and stuff, but I can tell people there that you can take a train there in case you're staying outside of the immediate area. Just pay attention to the train places and also where you can park and then take the train in. That's what I did. I was living in Long Beach at the time, which is not close to LA, and I drove to a station, parked my car there, and then took the train in each day, and that's how I made it work.
Yeah, 2 of our co-hosts, James and Mary, they live in that area, and they were very adamant on the traffic. The traffic is going to be insane. It's going to take you.
Look at the train system. There's a train that literally stops right near.
Right. The trains are an option, and that's probably the better option if you need to travel. But I opted for just getting a hotel close by and just biting the bullet and just paying the money, so I can just walk if there's just chaos. So, all right. So, going back to Star Wars Celebration, there is a slew of guest announcements here. And there's an article on StarWars.com. I'll read a little bit of it. Celebrity guests confirmed for Star Wars Celebration Los Angeles 2027 update. Stars from across the Skywalker saga and Lucasfilm Animation are headed to Star Wars Celebration. Ahmed Best, who of course we all know and love, is Jar Jar Binks, and Jedi Master Kelleran Beck will be there. Also, starring, of course, The Mandalorian, as it says here. They'll be at Star Wars Celebration 2027. The voice of General Grievous in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars The Clone Wars, Matthew Wood, who was just recently at SpaceCon, who we got to meet and talk to and host a panel for. Also, what was that?
Cool guy.
Yeah,
Matthew Wood.
He's a cool guy. Yeah, for sure. Also, I just had him up on the screen there. You can see that Hayden Christensen and Ian McDermott will also be there, as well as Anthony Daniels, who I think he's been to every celebration I've been to since 2015. The chosen one himself, Hayden Christensen, and of course, he's been in pretty much everything from episode 2 on into the Clone Wars. Actually, well, Matt Lanter will be there as well, who was Anakin in the Clone Wars. He was in Attack of the Clones, of course. We all know this. I'm just reading the article here. Christensen reprised the dual role of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader in the limited series Obi-Wan Kenobi, and later appeared as Anakin in Ahsoka Season 1. And he also confirmed at SpaceCon San Antonio that he'll be in Ahsoka Season 2. And I think there was actually a Topps card of a picture of him as Anakin that was released recently. And it also says for fans of the Empire, the Emperor will also be in attendance at Star Wars Celebration, which we all figured. He's kind of been alluding to that. Ian McDermott has played Emperor Palpatine in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back was a special edition, I believe. Return of the Jedi, the prequel trilogy, and Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Anthony Daniels will be appearing, marking the 50th anniversary of Star Wars A New Hope, where he made his debut in the franchise. And of course, rounding it all out is D. Bradley Baker and Michelle Ang, who I'm a fan of. She went to Rebel Scum Con last year, and she was pretty cool to meet. D. Bradley Baker is also joining the fun. He was in Clone Troopers, including all the Clone Troopers. He was all the Clone Troopers, Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Star Wars, the Bad Batch, and joining Baker is co-star Michelle Ang, who voiced Omega in Star Wars, the Bad Batch. And of course, stay tuned to StarWars.com and StarWarsCelebration.com for any upcoming news. No real shocking announcements. Kind of par for the course. These are people I think you would expect would be going, but these are just the confirmations as of right now.
I expect the cast from Starfighter and the director as well. Because if they don't, it's dumb.
Yeah,
you have to have them there.
Like I said before, everybody alive that's been in Star Wars will be there.
This is a Star Wars Celebration that is literally all hands on deck. I do think, though, if you were going to ask me personally, if you were going to pick like one person as like your guest celebrity host, I think it has to be Sam Witwer. I think he has become maybe the best ambassador for Star Wars modern age right now.
I say Warwick Davis. He's always done a good job with that. I like him.
He'd be good. I mean, you could probably have like 2 or 3, but I think Sam, Warwick Davis would be a good one, and Ashley, I think, would be people you would be looking at to be like your celebrity hosts of honor for this, because I think, one, you're looking at age of original Star Wars cast members. 2, you want to get people who have identified somewhat across most of the platforms. And 3, I mean, they are just universally beloved by all the fan bases. You don't ever hear anybody say anything bad about Sam. And he's shown he might know as much as Dave Filoni when it comes to Star Wars. So.
Yeah, it's the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. I think they can get anyone to host that has ever hosted before to do this. That's a fan. Names in the past have been Stephen Colbert. Warwick Davis has been one of my favorites. Josh Gad, I remember he did the Last Jedi panel. I hope they do get some celebrity hosts to do this. I think because, Warwick Davis will be there because he was Wicket. I mean, he's part of the cast. I would like to see him maybe do something special. My dream is to be at the 50th panel and we not know of anyone being there, and then all of a sudden we see Liam Neeson with Hayden Christensen, and then we see Samuel L. Jackson, maybe with Frank Oz, kind of say a little bit, and then we just like slowly just bring up everybody on stage. I think that would be really awesome.
Do we possibly see the last live appearance, knock on wood, of John Williams in person?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get emotional just thinking about it. I mean, him being out there.
They could have a John Williams concert at the 50th.
Yeah. I mean, I think a few months ago, I think he's been showing up at the Hollywood Bowl. But he's looking more frail. He's looking older. I think he's been in a wheelchair most of the time. I think it's one of those things where he doesn't need a wheelchair, but they just have him in it.
We preserve
but-
him any way we can.
I think I'm just wondering right now how long that standing ovation is going to be.
Oh, it'd be the whole panel. It'd basically be the whole panel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and George Lucas, of course.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I mean, what's that going to be like? You know, I mean, with the lottery system, if it's still implemented, hopefully I can get in there.
Yeah, I mean that is going to be the panel. I mean, that is definitely
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
do you
man.
do you? I mean, let me ask you guys, just because the thoughts crossed my mind. Is there any big announcements you would like to see at Celebration? Is there something that you would just really like to see them announce or bring up that they haven't yet? Do you want to, what is the next film, or what is the next big project, or?
Well, my opinion might be popular, and I'm unpopular in some spots, but I want to see them announce episode 10, 11, 12 and have a plan for it, you know?
Right.
I know they've talked about ending the Skywalker saga, but I mean, you still have Daisy Ridley out there. You still have, I think, people that want to come back. And I think there's a way to do it. I think there's always a way to do a good story. But I want to see that continuation. I never wanted to see that go away. I wanted those episodes to keep on going and going and going. I mean, even if they don't do episode 10, 11, 12, they can still do episodes from the future and have a big gap of time. And it's something we totally don't expect. I mean, but then of course you look at box office and you look at what people want and what people say they want and what people don't know what they want. It's
Projecting box office failure before the movie comes out.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Star Wars was a perfect storm at that time. It came out at the right time. It was the right mix of people. George Lucas heading that with his ex-wife Marsha Lucas editing. Star Wars was found in the edit. A lot of people will say that.
Oh yeah.
And you got to have a nice mix of talented people, and the timing has to be right. And
Well, let me ask you this out of curiosity. Do you think there's one of the reasons why they might be holding off on any more announcements too is because of how weird the box office has been? And I think there's a lot of people who are waiting to see what Avengers Doomsday does. And maybe that will kind of help them dictate some decisions of direction.
the thing is, we don't know what Filoni is and Lin-Manuel Brennan have decided on doing.
I mean, let me ask. It's been pretty much like silent running from Lucasfilm for a while now, and I know that's got a lot of people going, "What the hell is going on?" But I think it's I think that's intentional. I think they've realized we don't want to say anything about anything until we know for sure directions, because I think they're still trying to figure out some direction.
The recent Doomsday news hasn't been good. I don't know if you guys have kept up with it, but yeah, what comes out from Star Wars in the theater after Starfighter, I'm eagerly awaiting what they announce and what we do see. I mean, is it going to be something completely new? Back in 2019, they announced the Taika film, and then it seemed like it was shelved, and then it seemed like it came back, and then it seemed like it got shelved, and then it's back now, and he's doing it, but he's got all these other projects he's doing. I think back then we would have been okay with maybe like a really eccentric Star Wars film, maybe, but now it's like we need something foundational, it seems like. And
I feel like
maybe that's the film.
I feel like the Knights of the Old Republic is still untapped stuff that we could do because they don't have to worry about any current canon. They could, they have material they can draw from, and seeing ancient Jedi and the beginnings of the Sith would just seem like just rich material to draw from. And
Mhm.
And I think that they could still do that, and I still hope that they do that.
Oh.
Because anything that they do after the sequel trilogy, it's kind of tough. I know they got Daisy Ridley, and I think she's great, and I would love to see more of her. But they need to distance themselves from that sequel trilogy and just have start something new.
In which it feels like they are with like
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge and just like this Lucasfilm exhibition thing they're doing. It doesn't. It seems like it's going to be stuff from the original trilogy and nothing
I
further
think
than
that
that.
was,
Maybe prequel stuff. I don't know, but
that was Disney's biggest mistake from the beginning. Was they tried to do everything they could to almost distance themselves from everything from original Star Wars. The focus was on, here's what we're producing. This is what we want our focus to be on, is these films and everything that we're producing in this part of the Star Wars universe. I mean, we saw it with how they did Galaxy's Edge when it first opened up and how they marketed things. The question is with the new leadership at Disney and now leadership at Lucasfilm, have they learned their lesson from that, and are they going to get away from that? Or are they still kind of working in the mindset we need to push our new Star Wars ideas? It's them finding their own balance in the Force in a way, and I don't think Disney still hasn't really managed to fully do it yet.
I mean, we've all heard of the Lucas foresight of owning the rights to the films and to merchandising and all that stuff. The question is, did Lucas do it again with Star Wars selling it to Disney? Because I've heard some things to the tune of, if Disney wanted to use certain things, they would have to pay Lucas and certain people to do it, and that's why they avoided it. That's what I've kind of heard.
Oh, you mean why they didn't use a lot of the original OT aliens in the sequel trilogy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's 100% accurate or what exactly, but it seems like that's logical, because otherwise I would have put a bunch of OT aliens in the sequel trilogy. But
Oh yeah, that would have been
Neil
a lot
Scanlon and his team developed all kinds of new stuff, which was interesting. But then you think, of course, it's a really big galaxy, it's a big universe, and that whole thing. But I remember other people talking about it in the past, and they're like, we didn't get a single character from the cantina at Maz's castle. But yeah.
It's interesting times. I mean, I don't think I've ever felt Star Wars at a crossroads like this. Even like before Phantom Menace came out, or even before Force Awakens came out. It never felt like it was at it was just like, oh, finally more Star Wars. We've missed you. Now it feels like we're at a bit of a crossroads here, to where it could go a few different directions, and we're not real sure what it's going to go in, or even if that direction is going to be a positive direction. And we're all Star Wars fans. We all want the best for Star Wars, but I think because of the way things have been handled, we all have a little bit more of a seat of doubt than we did 10 years ago with Star Wars. And I think that's what they have to overcome right now, is getting the fans to trust in them again.
Yeah. Rob Ortiz says, preach, Kyle, preach. Alexander on YouTube says original aliens for the OT appeared in Rogue One, but yeah, Rogue One took place during the OT, so that makes more sense. It is a crossroads. I'm kind of sitting over here like, okay, yeah, what's gonna happen? What are we gonna see? Are we gonna see? Because I know David Fincher is in the mix of doing something, which really was under the radar. It just kind of came out. Kathleen Kennedy. I think when Kathleen Kennedy gave her exit interview, so to speak, she mentioned David Fincher, I think, in that. And of course, he's an ILM alum, and I don't think, has he won an Academy Award for directing? I don't think he has, right?
I don't think he has. I think he's been nominated, but I don't
a
think
lot of stuff that he's done has been heavily awarded, and I mean, he's made some great classic cult films. So
it's weird.
He did win Best Director in 2021.
For what?
That's what I'm trying to look up for here right now.
It's weird though, as Kyle's looking for that. I've been finding myself kind of going back to the Star Wars that I like, whether it's the OT or I really have an affinity for Solo. I love that movie, or Rogue One, since the Andor really kind of setting up the stage for that now. And Andor's been some of the best Star Wars television. But I did want to thank you again, by the way, David, for coming on our network last year for Life Day release of the Star Wars holiday special that we did.
Yeah, it seems like it was yesterday, Kevin.
I know, right? But what's funny is I found at a record store, I found another bootleg copy of the Star Wars holiday special. But the best part about it is that it comes with the Donnie and Marie holiday special Star Wars thing they did. So
yeah. But by the way, it was I meant right. Fincher has not won an Academy Award, but he has been nominated for 3 for Best Director: Benjamin Button, Social Network, and Mank.
Yeah, my memory's still kind of accurate there. Yeah. I mean, what path are they going to take? I say take both paths. I say do unknown directors and do known directors, and just keep it going. And to go against Kevin's wishes of doing all canon, why can't we just do both? Do a canon timeline and do a non-canon thing. I mean,
because that starts causing problems.
If you're gonna do non-canon, let's do some live action. All right. The reason why is because I've had an issue a lot lately with current anime style or animation in general, and I'm gonna put out the Star Wars or the Spider-Verse. I'm not a fan of that weird, sloppy looking animation, and even that last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do the same type of animation. Stick to what works and what looks cool if you're going to do animation. That type of weird, sketchy, watercolor looking, hyperkinetic style, not my thing. But if you're going to do non-canon, let's try to do some live action and see how that rolls over.
And that is what you just said, though, as far as animation style. That's why I think you would actually like that Ninth Jedi, because it's more of a traditional Japanese animation style. It's not that watercolor splash. It's more of a traditional style of animation.
I'll check out the first episode. I'll be curious, So,
no, like I said, even go back and rewatch those 2 Vision episodes if you haven't fully watched them, or it's been a while and they're not fresh with you.
Yeah, we disagree there too, Kevin. I do like that style, and that's what the kids like, Kevin. They like the Spider-Verse animation style.
Have they shown them anything better?
I mean, it's different. I mean, it's not the typical
huge history of really well done animation, and then you're gonna just half-ass it. I'm sorry, that's where I stand on that. I mean, if you're gonna make the animation, make it good. I mean, it's just
I agree with that. Always make it good. I think that's important. All right, just making a note here. Kevin does not like that type of animation.
Do not invite Kevin for Ninth Jedi review show. Invite Kyle.
I'll make another note. Do not invite Kevin to my Spider-Verse trilogy watch along. All right, moving on. I want to talk about Star Wars Zero Company. Does anyone here have any idea what that is?
No. What is it? I'm excited. Tell me. Or should I?
So Star Wars Zero Company is actually going to have a panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
The big game that's coming out here soon.
It is a game that's coming out here soon. It is rated T for violence and mild language. It's a turn-based game that's going to be available for the next-gen consoles and PC. There is a trailer you can watch online, and of course, the panel that hopefully I can attend. Here's another poster of it here. But yeah, it's gonna. I'm not quite sure if it actually takes place in a certain timeline, but I think with the characters that you see there, you can see that kind of where it takes place. You kind of see the Idrio Two Tubes character in the top left if you're watching this on YouTube, and you can see what's the name of the character, the species in the bottom right there. That.
It looks like Zeb Relis' species.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, but the name of the species is escaping me right now. It's kind of popular, but Yeah, it's I think it's the next game that's coming out for Star Wars, and of course they're gonna have a big panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
It is set during the twilight end of Clone Wars.
Okay. Yeah, it's a turn-based game, and one of the most popular turn-based games of all time was Knights
I'm sorry,
of the Old Republic.
Is this video or board game or what?
Video game.
Okay.
Yeah, video game.
And turn-based
PC
means what?
So you select what you're going to hit your opponent with, and then the hit takes place, and then the opponent selects what type of.
Think of it as an RPG type game.
Yeah, an RPG.
Gotcha.
Essentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And yeah, the trailer is online. And the synopsis here on YouTube is command an elite squad through a gritty and authentic story in Star Wars Zero Company. It's a single-player turn-based tactics game launching on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Each choice you make could alter the fate of the galaxy in the cinematic's original story set in the twilight of the Clone Wars era, just like Kyle said. You can pre-order now to outfit your droids with the Crystalline Astromech Cosmetic Pack at StarWarsZeroCompany.com. And they're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And of course, you can find out more on StarWars.com. But I mean, there's a few video games coming out, and I think this one is kind of the next one that they're going to kind of publicly market. I know there's a pod racing game coming out,
So
as well as news
about that one. The Galactic Racer game. A lot of people are talking that one up.
Yeah, it seems like it. There's also, I just lost my train of thought. There's actually been news and rumors about the Star Wars Eclipse game that got announced, feels like years ago now, but apparently that gaming company is stating that they are going to complete that game no matter what. So hopefully we do get that as well. So I think there's 3 games to look forward to here.
Is that that's not the 1313 game, right?
No, unfortunately, that got
dead and gone.
Is this going to be a digital only game, or is there going to be?
It'll still have. We're still in 2026. It'll have discs. That doesn't happen to 2028.
Right. I think you're alluding to the fact that PlayStation is getting rid of physical media here.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. We're about to the end of actual consoles existing the way we grew up on them, because they're basically going to just become hubs to access things instead of having a physical media. I think Nintendo will be the only thing left making any kind of cartridge.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it's been a bit of a mixed bag on the Star Wars game front for a while now.
Yeah, which is strange to me because I really like Battlefront, and it got a bad rap, I know, with the whole like buying of DLC and all that stuff, but it was still a good game. I mean, the base game was still good.
I think the last Star Wars game I played was with my daughter, was one of the Star Wars Lego games, because that's what got my daughter into Star Wars, and they were very fun to play.
I did just recently pick up the remaster for PS5 of Dark Forces.
Oh, nice!
Such a good game.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, Rob Ortiz on YouTube says like a Pokemon, but Star Wars. I don't think so. I don't think Pokemon is RPG, is it?
No, not really. Think more of like a Final Fantasy or something like that.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, exactly. Final Fantasy type. So, yeah, hopefully we get to play it at San Diego Comic-Con. I know I told you guys that I'm going to go there. I'll be with Countdown City Geeks. We will be out there trying to cover everything that we can possibly cover. We have media badges, so we're going to have some access that a lot of people don't have. There's going to be a big Star Wars booth out there. There's going to be, I think, a couple of displays that I wasn't expecting. I'm trying to remember exactly what the Star Wars relation is to it. But, yeah, they're going to have, trying to think of all the notes that we took down.
When they can have the working Millennium Falcon landing in the parking lot.
It's funny. The one thing it's funny too, because whenever I go to Comic-Con, I have a rule. I don't pick up exclusives for friends. I just don't do that anymore because it's maddening. And there's an exclusive there that I wish I was there for, but it's not Star Wars related.
So yeah, well, there are a couple of Star Wars exclusives that are going to be available. I believe there's an Ahsoka Funko Pop, Kyber Crystal Edition, and a Maul Pop that people have told me about, but I haven't seen pictures of.
What about HasLab stuff? Because I remember when I was there when they showed the HasLab for the Ghost ship. Did they have any HasLab stuff going on? With
Nothing
Hasbro?
has been announced, but they always take every single HasLab they've ever done there, and it's in the Hasbro booth, so you can check it all out.
Gotcha.
The one that I never bought was the Katana, which I regret not getting. And then there's the other one, which is like the Maz Eisley Cantina. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the most current HasLab is the Lat Eye gunship from the Vintage Collection.
The what?
The Star Wars Vintage Collection, the LAAT Eye gunship from Clone War, from the prequel trilogies.
Oh,
That's the other one I don't have either. So I think there's 3 total.
That's not even out yet. They're still, the campaign has ended and did get funded, but they haven't shipped it yet.
I bought the Hasbro one. I think I ended up selling it to someone, but yeah, it was massive.
They're just going to HasLab the new Razor Crest. That's what they're going to do.
It's like right behind me there. But this one will have the yellow stripes, so it's different. And you'll get Sigourney Weaver with it, maybe. I don't know.
Sigourney Weaver, X-Wing pilot.
Yeah. All right, yeah, guys, that's pretty much all the news that we haven't covered on the podcast. Is there anything you guys want to plug or talk about?
Well, we've been busy at the Fandom Podcast Network. It's our 10th year. I can't believe we made it that long.
10th anniversary, yeah.
Yep. We are currently undergoing facelifts on all of our shows. Some new directions, some new.
When he means facelift, he means logos, not people getting facelifts. Just so you know.
I thought that was going to be one of the YouTube shows. Was your facelift, Kevin?
But yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us. We appreciate that. We got a lot of good shows on there. So yeah.
You can find us on, like I said, YouTube. We're also on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just look for the Fandom Podcast Network. We're on all the big podcast catchers out there too. So,
yeah, for sure.
Thanks for having us.
Any updates on the Highlander?
Right now, it looks like the principal photography has been finished filming. Of course, starring Henry Cavill and co-starring Karen Gillan and Russell Crowe and David Bautista. And we don't have release dates yet, but I'm happy with what I've seen of the behind the scenes and a lot of the spy cameras following them. And they did film a Highlander prequel, or excuse me, flashback scene at the famous Highlander castle that the original film filmed at, and a castle I've been at a few times myself, Eileen Doon Castle there in Scotland. They did a lot of filming in Scotland, which I was happy about. They did filming in London, and then I think they did one in Romania, I think, something like that. So I'm happy with what I've seen, but we don't have a release date yet.
Is Henry Cavill associated to that?
Which is weird because this is the 40th anniversary of Highlander. But I did do something that I thought was kind of nerdy regarding that. We have a film festival here in Santa Barbara every year, but the company also owns a local theater, and it bought another one. And they've been showcasing some of the new movies and a lot of the artsy fartsy films too. But then they showcase retro movies every Friday and Saturday night at 9:00. And I emailed them saying, hey, I've never seen Highlander 1986 on the big screen. It's celebrating its 40th anniversary. There is a 4K restoration. Would you consider showing it? I would like to see it. And they scheduled it for later this month, and I'm really excited. I can finally get to see Highlander on the big screen.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, that is the show. If you want to find us at Star Wars Stuff Podcast, you can find us on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Pod, Twitter at Stuff Pod, Blue Sky, Thread, Star Wars Stuff Pod, Patreon. Thank you for all the love and support that you guys give us. We were able to fully fund our trip to Rebel Scum Con in Frisco, I believe August 7th through 9th. So check us out there. We might have on some of the founders here pretty soon on the podcast. Also, you can find us on TikTok. You can email the show at StarWarsStuffPodcast@gmail.com. And of course, Facebook, we have a group and a page. If you give us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, that'd be great. That helps us out a lot. If you visit our website at StarWarsStuffPodcast.com, James has written a lot of great in-depth articles you might want to check out. And thank you so much to Kyle and Kevin today for joining the podcast. They're always great. Check out the Fandom Podcast Network. And I thought Kyle was reaching for something. I think he's just petting his cat there.
Yeah, they've gotten lazy.
Thanks for having us on. We really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's always a blast.
Fun to be on, David.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, and may the Force be with you.